Okay, hello. My name is Farid Ziani. I'm an architect designer at KTX archiLAB, who are based in Japan. And our project is titled Pure Semicircles, which is an interior design for a cram school in Osaka, Japan. So these educational institutions are widely popular in Japan, from elementary school up to high school. So especially like for pupils are like preparing the final exam. So the students go here after the daytime school, just like to study a little bit more, and it helps them like more relax and focus on their studies than going back home and doing their homework. The system may vary from franchise to franchise. So it can be like booths, it can be open spaces. They are using either like paper-based materials like books or like computers or tablets. So our client, Sundai Divers, also have like online-based lessons that the students can access from computers or tablets inside the current school spaces. And they also have like so the brief was very easy. It was just like, this is the program that we need. We need a reception space. We need some offices, of course, for the workers. We need a big study room. And then we need like a booth for consultations where like specialists of pedagogy can meet like the students and their parents and then make some orientations to the students. The project is located on the northeast outskirts of Osaka. It's a little city called Ibaraki. So the neighborhood is just like near a major train station, surrounded by mixed-use district like of work, leisure, and housing. And then the space is located on the fourth floor of a mall building that is connected through pedestrian bridges to the station. So this space actually has windows running along the whole space, like the outside walls. And then we have a pony wall of 95 centimeters high. But the concrete building was built in 1973, and since Japan is a massively earthquake country, so the regulation has changed over the years. And then with that, the building had to add some structural elements for a better earthquake proofing and clearing all the new codes and regulations regarding to that. But that created, that cut the space into two halves. So this is the space as we found it. All the green highlight here is the exterior windows. And then the structural element on the right side that divided the space into a triangle in here and kind of an L-shaped or square-shaped space on the left side. So we started by placing a study desk or like a counter that goes along all the windows to help with the daylight. And then we added a middle table around that. And then while doing that, we started to play around with some circular forms. So here's the floor plan. We have all the desks along all the windows, and then the middle table, and then to help like smoothly transition between the angles, especially on the corner, we just like used a circle over there, and then also for the table, we connected it into a round shape. So now we are left with a rectangular, narrow, not very interesting space for a reception. And then we decided to go also with a semicircle over there. And then we have like the the consultation booth, and then the offices on both sides, between the reception and the study. So this is what I did with the reception. We placed a mirror on the right side where it was like a straight one. So the semicircle becomes a full one. We played also with the finishing on the ground where we put it like white finishing, and then in contrast with all other spaces for education. And then we placed kind of a reflective stainless sheet on the ceiling. That stainless sheet is made to kind of mimic water rippling in that. And to enhance that effect of water rippling, we just like had indirect lighting all over the circle with the reflection. But that was not enough to clear the lighting code, so we had to place another straight line over the discipline. So with the reflection, you have a full circle of the reception. And then on the middle counter, we use the same panels on the ceiling. The problem with when you have your table and people sitting on both sides is that direct side might be not very good for focusing on their studies, so we used some rotation in the middle of the table just to offer students more relaxing atmosphere and more privacy into what they are doing, not direct sight to the next student. And then we have the reflective stainless steel and then the light, linear light as well, same as in the reflection with the mirror over. The same applies also on the triangular part where we have like the counter going all around, and then we use the triangle that is left from using the circle to have also more reflection over there. The thing with Japan is that the summer could be really brutal with the lighting. So even when we wanted to use maximum of daylight, we had also to place some blinds to protect in the summer. And we wanted to offer more warmth into the space because it was white and black, so we used the wood to offer more warmth to the space. We did the same thing also with consultation booth. It was a very narrow space. Then we had to play with the ceiling this time and have a quarter of a circle, like this arch coming down, and that covers the indirect lighting on the vegetation of the roof. So it's a very small space that has its cover. So in the end, what we did with this project is use minimal lines, minimum construction, because we didn't touch any ceiling, we just like painted the walls also, mostly just covered, finished. So minimum lines, minimum construction, small selection of finishing materials to maximize the daylight, maximize the comfort, maximize the working atmosphere, and maximize the use of the space. Thank you for your attention. One last point is that I would have loved to show you a picture of the space being used, but since the regulation in Japan cannot film students, so I apologize for that. Thank you.
I really like the way you took this incredibly awkward space and made it into something that was not only functional but also really interesting in the way you kind of integrated those curves and spaces that looked like the whole thing was intentional from the beginning. Because I was looking at that floor plan and that new structural wall thinking, oh my god, what a mess. Like, this is really difficult space to work with. So I commend you on the way that you've laid everything out and the use of mirrors for reflection to make the space look bigger. When I first saw those window shades and blinds, I was like, oh, that's kind of unfortunate when it comes to limiting the natural light. But at the same time, I know that when you're working facing a window, there's often a lot of glare in terms of like being bright outside and not as bright inside. So I guess my only question was, did you think of any other ways to sort of maximize the natural light a little bit more? Was there some way to maybe the blinds went from the bottom up, or to try and bring in this a little bit of natural light? Do you think that would benefit the scheme in any way?
Yeah, so the way how we placed the counter on the windows was our intention to maximize the use of daylight and not just light, which is actually the case. When the students are there, especially in the winter on a covered day, the blinds are opened or just like tilted into 45 degrees, and then we have enough light inside. So the whole project was about using daylight. But since the summer can be really brutal, so we had to use this system of blinds. That can either be completely open or just like tilted to have enough light inside.
And also it's very spare, very sort of clean and minimal, and just a very simple use of materials. Was that a very conscious design choice, or was it in relation to a limited budget?
Both actually. So we didn't have like, the thought of the budget since the beginning, but that was also time limit as well. So the client since the beginning was really to why don't we just like use the ceiling as it is. So if I go back to the plan, most of the ceiling is used as it is, except for the stainless sheets. And then the black walls, so the pre-existing walls, are mostly just like finished. We just redid the painting. So we really had minimum construction. The only walls that we add is the semicircle of the reception, and then the separation between the office and the study. That was the only construction that we added.
Presentation. I think like Heather, I appreciate that you did the maximum with the fewest elements. I think you really pared it down. I think the plants and the mirror work very well. I like the fact that you plants up on the mirror on the ceiling. So I think, and the mirror and the light too. So I think my main question would be, when kids go to study, what do you consider the best option for them? Just all sit at the same table, or did you suggest other ways of sitting, like a couch, or bleacher, or what they more things you consider how people work?
So this is actually not our first cram school. In Japan we have like probably 20, 30 years working with all kind of cram schools, but this is the first time with this particular one.
What's it called? The cram school?
Cram school, yeah.
C-R-A-M?
Yeah, that was, I mean, when I was looking for the translation from Japanese to English, that was the word that is
Like you're
coming
cramming
up.
for an exam?
Exactly,
Okay.
yeah. So it's not like the daytime, they go to normal school, and then instead of going home to study more or do their homework or prepare for the exam, they come to this institution. And with this one in particular, they have like their online platform. So in the other schools, they have like computers on each seat. But with this one, they decided to just like go with tablets to have more flexibility. And but they want also to maximize the seat number. So this was actually the better solution for having a maximum number of students, but still offer them, you can sit on the middle table, you can sit on the counter if you're alone. If you are with a friend, you can just like sit next to each other. So we try to offer still the same seating system, but offer different morphological spaces or configurations.
Yeah, like you have that consultation with nice to see different kind of space.
So that kind of space is actually especially before integrating the school, is usually there is like a pedagogist, if you say that, like a specialist of education. So the students will come with their parents, and 3 of them or 4 of them will sit in that space and discuss what is the best orientation, what the school recommend as classes to that student in particular. That of course before the student integrates the school, and then after when they integrate, just like to check with the parents where is the progress, where they have to head for.
Plants free.
Unfortunately, no. We wanted to do that. The thing is, with the irrigation and then maintenance, we couldn't do that. I was really hoping for them to be real. Yeah.
Well, I was partly thinking it was a growing space for the children.
Yeah.
But all I see pictures of children for very obvious reason in that sense.
Yeah.
Has the space changed over however many years, months since it opened? Has the pattern of the children space?
No, not really. We have talked with the client. There are many amendments, especially technical ones, because we didn't touch actually even all the air conditioning or something. So after the opening of the school, we have been in touch with the client just to amend some spaces in the office, and then some technical issues with the building. Besides that, we didn't have any communication with the client about how that change occurred with the students.
I mean, I'm just trying to get a picture of how the space feels in everyday use.
Yeah, I guess the normal use of these kind of spaces is like this. Schools that.
And everyone's dressing
that. But
is there a sort of social element to the pedagogy that people around? Or is everyone very much on their
yes, on their thing. But we didn't really want to have the separation between the students. We needed to have one between the students by sitting in front of each other for eye contact as well. But with the student who is beside you, it's just we try to ignore that. Give them, for example, looking at the plants instead of looking outside for the students.
No, I think the plant is up there.
Thank you very much.